like cupcakes in the upper school, so. Take a couple years off, come back to the upper school, bring some cupcakes. It's all good. Last night we had one of the many ceremonies and rituals in the upper school. This was our junior ring night, our class leadership. It's kind of the bookend, we call it the bookend to graduation. It's the first time when we say to juniors, you are now moving into a leadership role in the school. And let me preface my remarks talking a little bit about that, because I think what happens at an event like that is what all of us who work in the high school and the upper school want to see. So we see these kids, and intentionally as I was preparing my remarks, I went back to that yearbook and looked at these kids as freshmen, and I said, man, were they goofy? They were middle schoolers, like Jay was talking about. And 2 2/3 of a year later, one of them comes up and accepts the charge from me to be the new leaders of the school. And this young lady spoke eloquently about what it meant to now be a leader and what she now had learned about being a leader. And, as we have a ritual in an event like that, yes, we are about college prep, but we are really about people prep. And so these kids are learning to express themselves eloquently, but they're also learning to be people of character. So I think those are kind of, that kind of signifies for me a lot of what I like to stress about the upper school and what the people in the upper school are passionate about. Let me just give you a couple of details from the upper school, and then again, I'm also going to have Michelle Lyon, who's the assistant head of the upper school for academics, talk about things as well. Things I stressed with students that I interviewed, and I was pleased to talk to a couple of you before the session started who said, actually your son or daughter remembered something I said and went home and talked about it. As Dave said, we want Parish to be a place where students can pursue passions. And it used to be that we talked about as the new school in town. Students can kind of say, we haven't tried that yet. Oh, we'll try that at Parish. Well, now we're not just talking about ourselves as a new school, but as Dave says, a school where that's in our DNA. We're a school that doesn't say, no, we're not going to try that, or we tried that 20 years ago and it didn't work. We're a school that's going to say, why not? Let's check that out. Let's see if we can do that. And Michelle's going to talk to you about a couple of the exciting things we're doing. So we want to be a place where every kid can find at least one, but hopefully a couple of passion points. And those may be in the classroom, something that really excites them, that may be on the athletic field, that may be on the drama stage or in the art room, wherever it may be. We want those kids to come home at some point and say something more to you than, how was today? Fine. At some point, they're going to come home and say, maybe they won't even tell you. You'll come to school and we'll tell you, look at this incredible product that your son or daughter produced. So we want high school to be a place of that. We want it to be in that Episcopal tradition that Dave talked about the development of the whole person. We want to create people of impact. So again, whether it be daily chapel that Jay referenced, or ring night presentations, or whatever it may be, we give lots of opportunities to talk to people about what does it mean to be your best self. And again, that goes back to pursuing some of those passions and saying, what am I here for? And that's the fundamental question of adolescence, I think, when they get on to into college prep. We also want the upper school, in particular, and Parish in general, to be a place where every kid is going to have some significant connections with adults. As parents of adolescents, it's hard sometimes. I have an 8th grader. I know there are days when I'm not to be talked to. And that's good for both of us. But I hope there is somebody on the other end that can be that person for my son. So, whether that be the coach, whether that be that advisor, whether that be that teacher who has reached the kid in a separate way, we want every kid to have that experience. And again, some of the things we intentionally build into our life, whether that be advisory period, or an unscheduled time where we encourage kids to do one-on-one work with teachers. We're looking for places where those kind of connections will be done. Jay referenced the block schedule, and again, this is not unique to Parish, but it is unique compared to some places. And again, I give the same spiel that Jay does in terms of what that happens, what happens in the classroom there. I also like to talk about it a little bit as college prep. You know when you go to college, classes don't meet every day. And again, we want challenges that are developmentally appropriate. So middle school, they'll have the block schedule. It still may be pretty defined what homework is expected each day. In the upper school, there's going to be more of that. This is going to be due in 2 weeks. Budget your time out. The students who are involved intensely in athletics or the arts outside of school love the block schedule because it allows them to budget their time. They're not going to get 7 classes of homework in a given night. Those are some of the things I stressed, and again, I know a lot of you know this stuff, but let me just do a couple of other things real quick. We're sitting at 380 or so students. That's right where we want to be, between 90 and 100 in class. I love it. I think it's big enough that we can offer a full range of offerings. 14 AP courses, several dual credit courses, honors courses across the board, as well as standard college prep courses. A full range of extracurriculars for that size. But 90 to 100 kids also means that we're small enough that those kids are going to have those opportunities to find those passion points, and we're small enough that we're going to be able to know all those kids. So I love the size that we are. We're averaging about 15.2 students per class. So again, our goal is always to keep under 20. It varies a little bit from class to class, but a student can anticipate in most cases they're going to have somewhere between 15 or 18 in the class. Last year we had 107 students take at least one AP exam, a total of 218 AP exams. Again, these are junior and senior classes of 90 kids or so. 86% of them scored 3 or higher. 3 is generally considered the passing grade. So again, with those students who we think are ready to take on the challenge, our teachers are prepared to give them the tools they need to meet that challenge successfully, and we're proud of that success rate. Likewise, in terms of college placement, we got kids looking all over the country. Last year's class of 96 students put out 500 plus applications to 180 plus different schools. A lot of those, of course, regionally, but all over the country as well, including acceptances at Air Force, Barnard College, BU, Washington University, Rice, so on and so forth. So again, we want to be able to take that kid wherever he or she is, find that challenge and that passion point that's appropriate for them, and really present them with some opportunities. A couple of the opportunities that are kind of new on the scene recently are some things that Michelle Lyon, who's the assistant head of Upper School for Academics, has been really instrumental in helping to make happen. And I want her to talk a little bit about these, but I want you also to kind of, again, put these in the context of Parish as being a place where, as Dave talks about, possibilities happen. So please, Michelle.
Well, welcome. I was